So that was the first week of marathon training. We were like, this place just opened up. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
That breakfast burrito was so good.
That was amazing.
What's up, guys? Welcome to a drive with Barry and Sana.
Yes. It is our first carcast of 2022. We have a name now, a drive with Barry and Sana.
We do.
Let's see if we stick with that. And you know what's cool about this carcast is that it's nice and low pressure. I think it's been a while since I've explained what the carcast is. If you're a new listener, we basically just drive somewhere scenic around wherever we're driving, and we talk about whatever we're talking about.
What are we talking about? It's like a podcast, but in car form.
Yeah, and this way, if you're not interested in the conversation, you still have something to enjoy. The drive.
Views.
Yeah, you got the views.
Oh, yeah.
And where are we today, Sana?
We are in Redondo Beach. Yes, sir. This is technically considered South Bay area, I believe, in Southern California. It's... that guy's face was so funny. Did you see his face? Yeah. He literally was staring at him and he was like, what the... Yeah. He's like, did I get consent? But anyways, so we're in Redondo Beach, beach city out here in South Bay. Beautiful beach. We just ate some pizza with a couple friends and,
it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. What's awesome about SoCal is it's one of the few places in the world where you can go to a beach in January and wear short sleeves.
I'm not.
Well, it's nice and sunny. It's warm, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, honestly, that is a huge benefit. And this is actually our first time at this beach.
Yeah, first time.
I think the other beach we went to near here was Hermosa Beach.
Yeah.
But it was weirdly enough, 50, gloomy, and cold that day.
How would you rank this beach compared to Malibu? Because Malibu is our go-to beach that we go to all the time.
Honestly, this is top. This is top tier. I would honestly, I love Malibu. Malibu's still number one. That's how it is. However, I honestly think this is probably one of the best ones. I would say number 3. Because I kind of think the beaches in Crystal Cove area were pretty nice. Laguna area. I like those beaches.
We hit a cool spot of Redondo. It's actually called Rat Beach. Yeah. Which today first, we saw on Google Maps Rat Beach. And I was like, huh.
I'm like,
are there a bunch of rats there? We found out from our friend today, RAT stands for something. It stands for Right After Torrance. What a random acronym. Who comes up with these acronyms?
Rats? Do they not process that as not a good name?
Yeah.
That's that sounds like it's infested with rodents. That does not sound like the type of beach I want to be in. But let me tell you something, I do want to be in this beach.
Honestly.
So, yeah. I honestly had a pretty good time.
That's great. And since we're heading into New Year's, 2022, one of our goals, for those who haven't heard, is that we are planning to run a marathon this year. Actually, in about 3 months, we're going to be aiming to run 26.2 miles in the LA Marathon, which is insane.
3 months. I think we're exactly 10 weeks away. On this date, 10 weeks later is a marathon.
And whose idea was this? It was Sanat. So,
hi, my name is Sanat. What's your name?
Let me ask you, Sanat, for our viewers, why did you want to run a marathon in the first place?
That's honestly a very good question. I think I had some reasoning to it, but not completely.
I would hope you have some reasoning.
Yeah, I had some little reasoning. But no, listen, I've been running since I was in high school, and I've always had this weird relationship with running where I used to think that I hate it, but I think I just have a love-hate relationship with it. It's the one form of exercise I'm able to do every single day.
It's true. And
I reach a runner's high sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, this is why I do it. And
what's a runner's high?
You've never experienced a runner's high. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, I've heard Sanat talk about runner's high.
It's
I don't get. Is
it
just when running feels easy? Is that what it is?
No, it's not just that it feels easy, but yeah, it does feel easy. However, it also just feels incredible. You just feel so good. You're like, wow, I could run forever right now.
Wow, okay.
And I think that is what keeps me going. I also really think it's a high reward workout.
But okay, so it seems like you enjoy running, but you could have just kept running over and over again. Yeah. Why specifically register for a marathon and enter this race and everything?
Well, when I think of
that is interesting.
When I think of milestones in running, I think a marathon is the milestone to reach.
That's true.
Where it's obviously there are harder runs, like the Ironman race, for example. But in terms of running, I just think a marathon is peak run. Once I've done that, I will feel like I've really accomplished running. I finally can say I'm a runner when you do a marathon. And it's always been a life goal. And I always told myself, like, every single year, I'd be like, I'm going to sign for that half marathon. I'm going to sign for a half marathon. And like every year I wasn't doing it. And then this year I was like, why not just do the whole thing?
Yeah, you just skipped it. You skipped the 10K, you skipped the half marathon.
Do the whole entire
straight
thing.
to marathon. Honestly, I think that's very admirable. And when I heard Sanat say she was going to
Barry,
do
what
it,
was your reasoning for wanting to do a marathon?
I have this ideal version of myself that I'm striving for, and that ideal version is the kind of guy who wakes up early in the morning, goes on a run with his wife, and that's just like my ideal version. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to get into that habit where I'm like, all right, if we're going to be training every day, then that sounds fun. So like, so I was doing it, I was like, I don't really care. I've never run more than like 4 or 5 miles before in my life. But if the idea was to wake up early, go on a run, and then begin our day, I was like, I want to get into that structure. So yeah, my motivation was the structure.
Barry's been saying this for like maybe 2 years now. He's like, we should just start waking up early, get started with our day, do a workout in the morning. Because I used to go on runs like after work, like before dinner, essentially. Yeah. And he's like, how much better would it be to just get out of the way first thing in the morning? I was like, sounds terrible. Like I honestly thought I could never do that. But now, after about, how many weeks have you been training?
We've been doing 6 weeks of training now.
After 6 weeks of training, I can say that I don't think I'm going to go back to how it was before. Would you agree, Barry? Like, how do you feel about this schedule? Like, first thing in the morning, no food in your stomach. You're only going to go run a 15-mile run, for example, like we did last week.
I think it's amazing. The structure is great because you kind of don't have any more possibility of a lazy morning.
Yeah.
If you didn't have something to do in the morning, it's like, you wake up, you lollygag for a few hours, and you
wake up 5 minutes before
work.
meeting.
Yeah, you get to work, and then you don't have like a quality start to your day. Yeah. Now you wake up, you get what you need to do, you get ready, you get your blood flowing in this workout, and then you come back, and it's like you've already won the day.
Yeah.
Before you did anything, like you already accomplished something, and that's to me is like just a great way to get in a daily habit of life.
I really get it. I never saw myself as that person, but now I totally see it.
One other thing also is that it gives you motivation to sleep early. We've always told ourselves like, let's start
I'm a night
earlier.
person.
Yeah. We always kept sleeping like 11, midnight, sometimes even later.
Yeah.
But now it's like we have to be in bed by 10.
Otherwise I'm going to be exhausted and unable to run.
It kind of enforces some discipline, which is nice.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of structure in my life right now, and it's nice, but I don't know, it is getting a little creepy. Not creepy, but a little scary.
What's so scary about it?
Structure in life and routine scares me. It's just something that scares me. I never want to fall into a never-ending loop.
Interesting.
So that part's a little scary, but I like the discipline.
Is it the idea of boredom? Like, do you think it's boring to have a routine?
It's not that it's boring, but I think life is most exciting when the unexpected happens.
I know you, Sana. You like the idea of spontaneity.
Yes.
Like you like having like a spontaneous way of life.
Yes.
What if I told you that you can have structure but also be spontaneous? The only structure we're having is starting our day a certain way.
Yeah, but I also have this like job where I work 9 to 5 most days.
That's true, but we work remote so we can go places.
Yeah, that's true.
We can still have the spontaneity.
I think it's just a lot of it for me is just like fear of being bored and falling into a boring lifestyle. So I definitely don't want that to ever happen. I want to keep things interesting, keep things silly.
I think you're selling yourself short. I think a lot of people would look at, running a marathon. That itself is like not boring.
Yeah, but there's structure.
Structure is not boring.
Yeah,
like consider a lifestyle where, say, you don't have any structure. You are, maybe just watching TV all day. You do nothing. There's no structure, but it's, probably more boring, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me ask you another question.
Got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna interview.
We have been, just to set some context, every Sunday is our sort of our longest run, our most difficult run of the week in our training. Yep. And we like to treat ourselves to a burrito after that, a breakfast burrito after our run. So we've done like 6 6 burritos now. We never really talked about it so much. What burrito has been the best for you so far, and why?
Ooh, okay. This is, I would say the funny thing is the first burrito we had week 1 was the best one we had so far. A place called
burrito?
Great White. And if you're in the LA area, very solid breakfast place, okay? Originally Venice location, but however, a new spot opened up in Larchmont Village near our home. So that was the first week of marathon training. We were like, this place just opened up. Let's go check it out. Yeah. That breakfast burrito was so good.
That was amazing.
Barry, what would you say was your most favorite?
I have to agree. I mean, it's difficult because objectively looking back, that was the best tasting burrito. But it was also the first week where we were not prepared. We ran this like
third factor.
We ran this.
There was like alert.
We're starting a new year, and I want to make sure to have as minimal driving mistakes as possible because I think in 2021 I had a ton of close calls during these carcasts, but trying to be safe. But anyway, speaking of the burritos. Yeah, the first run, we ran 9 miles. We didn't have any preparation. Yeah. We didn't have any water with us. We didn't have any of those like runner gel packs.
Yeah, the goo packs.
And it was like the first time I ever ran anything more than 5 miles in my life. And I was like, wow, this is insane. So I was dead and I was like dying. I think both of us were kind of dead.
We were so unbelievably weak.
So that's possibly why it tasted so good?
The burrito hit really hard after that. I was so unbelievably weak. Like, deceased. I was collapsing. And then the funny part is it's not like we learned. The next week we did an 11-mile run. Still deceased. So weak. I was like, I can't do this. I was telling myself, I was like, I can't marathon train. Like, this is so hard. And the funny thing is we learned, first I got a hydration pack, but meant for running, so it keeps like tight. And then we bought goo packs, and then after that,
they're like these little packs that you can eat while you run. Yeah. And it gives you some energy.
Amino acids, sodium, caffeine. Like, it's just like this nutrient pack that like replenishes you because you are doing an insane thing when you're running that much. Like, you're losing a lot.
Do you think anyone can run a marathon? Some people say that. Do you think that statement's true now that we're kind of halfway through training?
I think if anyone, yes. Yes. Nice. And I'll tell you why though. I think a lot of it's mental.
It is. Like,
obviously you need a physical ability as well, but I do think that a lot of it is mental. And then, like, for example, week 2 with the 11-mile run, I had a little bit of a mental breakdown, and that it was all in my head. Like, I was like, my God, this marathon, because we're doing like this intermediate training plan, not like a beginner's one because we're crazy apparently. And I just was like, this plan is like insane. We should have just done the beginner's one. Like, why are we running 11 miles in week 2? Like, I just got in my head, which made me feel weaker, and I felt like I couldn't keep going. But if you just have the confidence and the belief that you can do it, I think anyone can do it. What do you think, Larry?
No, yeah, it's so true. Like, it is mental. Looking in, I was like, running a marathon is super physical. Like, to run 26 miles, you have to be like in incredible shape, which I'm sure you kind of have to be in good shape. But I would say the most challenging part so far is the mental part of how can you do something for, hours. Yeah. And put yourself through this. And it's like, I would say like, when we did our first long run, that was 9 miles. It wasn't that I was like breathing so heavily and I was like super tired. Yeah. It was more so like, feelings of self-doubt and feelings of like, why am I doing this? And it was just almost kind of boring sometimes.
No, I'll tell you why it's boring for Barry. Barry doesn't listen to anything when he runs. And Barry convinced me, he was like, oh, when we're training together, like, can you like not wear your headphones so we can like talk and stuff? And I can't.
Yeah, I'm not really much of a music guy during exercise. Everything.
Today was a time trial run, one of the first ones. And I was listening to music the whole time. And I feel like I did so much better with that. Like, it's such a jam. That's another thing about running. Such a good time when you're listening to something real popping.
To each their own. To each their own.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you're watching this and if you've even had just a shred of a desire to run a marathon, I think we can tell you, as people who are halfway through training, haven't even run one yet, you probably can. I think it's
even if you're a beginner, you can do it as long as there's nothing physically keeping you from getting there. Because, like, for example, last week during our long run, in the beginning of the run, there was a random steep LA hill, like very, very steep. Running up that caused like my hips to get like very, like, I don't even know what it was, but like I hurt my hips because of that. And that was the beginning of the run, but I still ran the remaining distance. And that type of thing long term is not good, because you could like actually like, you know, what's it called? Like when you misplace your hip, like
dislocate your hip.
Like when you could like dislocate some bones by doing that. And like if you have something physical that's preventing you from running, then okay, maybe not everyone can do it.
Yeah,
but
obviously, yeah.
If you are physically able.
If you have disabilities preventing you,
yes,
then for sure. But regular Joe Schmo, even if you're not an athletic person, you can. If it's something you want to do,
yeah.
I think you can.
Yeah, if you believe, you can do it. Get your Disney Channel energy inside of you
yeah.
and believe in yourself. That's honestly all you really need. And also every Sunday, treat yourself during those long runs. Treat yourself to something good, like a burrito, or maybe even a breakfast taco, or like a French toast, or.
The possibilities are endless.
Honestly, actually, no. One thing I noticed though is at first we started getting like one of us gets a burrito, one of us gets something sweet, and then we like split. But we just process like sweet things don't hit as hard after a long run.
You know why? Because now we've been using those gel packs.
Oh yeah, the goo packs are sweet.
Which, you know, has some sugar and it kind of reduces our sugar training.
The goo packs are like vanilla flavored,
yeah.
fruit flavored. So I think that kind of takes away the sweet desire. Yeah. Also, have some good shoes. Make sure you're wearing the right shoes. I got a story about some bad shoes. I went to the grocery store. I went to the runner store. Got some new shoes. The guy told me some crazy things. He was like, your feet swell so much that he was giving himself as a reference. He's like, I wear a size and a half bigger than what my actual size is. And I was like, what the? I was shook.
He told us that he lost toenails.
Yeah,
from wearing shoes, because when you run a marathon, your feet will swell up, and wearing his regular shoe size, his feet would get so cramped up and the nails would just come off. And I was like, wow, that's pretty wild. Yeah.
So he gave me a size like 8.5. I'm normally a 7/7.5. And I was like very like what's gonna happen here?
Yeah.
And then I bought that 8.5, and the next time I wore those shoes, we were running our half marathon. And oh my god, those shoes destroyed me. It was more that this thing, right over here, was just digging into like my skin the whole time. It was so painful.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you get the right shoes.
You gotta get the right shoes. You gotta get goo packs. You gotta get the right shoes. Get your hydration figured out.
Yep.
Make sure you you follow a plan.
Yep.
You follow a marathon training plan so you can gradually increase your running. You can't just dive into a long run. Any other tips?
That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, I mean, heading into 2022, it's a good goal to have. Whatever your goals are this year, I'm sure you can hit it. That's it for today.
Yeah, that's it, folks.
Redondo Beach. Stay with it. Peace and love as always, and we will see you next time.
Bye!